Well, hello and welcome. It's Publica and my name is Fumi. Thank you for spending the next hour with us. Today we are going to be talking about road rage. Did you know that road accidents are one of the highest ways to die in Nigeria? Did you also know that statistically, although you mustn't ask me who did that study, that in Nigeria, road accidents is one of the highest ways to die compared to the rest of the world? Now, which is it? Is it the roads? Is it the driver? Is it the cars? Is it what? We do say here that Ọlọ́run má jẹ́ a rìn ní ọjọ́ tí ebi ń pa ọ̀nà. Literally, that means, God, may we not travel on the day where the road is hungry. So is it that the roads are actually literally hungry, looking for the souls to suck in? Okay. I have the experts who can make sense of why this happens, and more importantly, how to change that. We're going to take a break. When we come from the break, we'll start our conversation in earnest.
Nigeria's roads are in a terrible state, with potholes, uneven surfaces, and poor maintenance.
Almost every week, there's accidents everywhere because the road is not good.
The roads are very rough. It's not too good. They need to work on it, especially major road. They are the only one they concentrate, but the individual road they not concentrate there.
Some side, no, everywhere cannot be so. It cannot be good like that. But anywhere there's pothole, that causes more go slow, more odor.
The roads, I won't say all the roads are bad, but all the potholes on the road especially has to be amended, because nobody wants to fall into potholes. We know how much I know how much I consume on tires every 2 months. I purchased new tire. As at last night, my tire got into a kind of pothole with a kind of heavy speed, and before I know it, the tire has busted.
We need to work on more road, more bridges, link up places and make the movement so easy for people.
To navigate Lagos traffic, you have to be like an early waker or know what you are doing in Lagos, absolutely.
The bad roads pose a significant threat to the safety and health of Nigerians, impacting their daily lives and contributing to the country's economic challenges.
Right, it's Public Eye, and today we're talking about road rage. Is the road raging or the people at rage? I'm going to start my conversation with somebody who should be able to help me with this. Dr. Taiwo Salam, so is the HOD Transport, Technology and Infrastructure at the School of Transport and Logistics at the Lagos State University. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you for me. Right. My pleasure coming to the Public Eye.
Thank you. So is it that are the roads the problem or are the people the problem? What do you think?
I think we can look at it in three views. First of all, the road construction. Secondly, in transportation, there's what we call human action towards the road. And again, when you look at traffic psychology, people refused, and it is their attitude, attitudinal change. Until we have that, we can't have any way to go. Professor Mapo Gunje of blessed memory said that the total number of vehicles on the road in Nigeria is 11 vehicles per kilometer. But in Lagos State, it is 365 vehicles per kilometer. Therefore, what happened? Everybody wants to move at the same time. And looking at our attitude, people are not ready to wait to use their own time before others. And that creates the extra lane they are creating. And when you look at our public transportation too, the downfalls, small ways, all these things, they want to quickly go and make more journey. So they are also in haste.
Right.
That is about the people. About the road. It is only in this part of the world that I will see that it is the engineers that just feel they should put road here and they put road. Rather than going through the Ministry of Transportation. It is the Ministry of Transportation that will call and say, at this place we need road, and this is the type of the road we need at this place. Look at many roads they build in Nigeria. They don't have walkway. They don't consider non-motorized transport, like bicycle, as we always have in our own days, and walkways. And where they were considered, you see people displaying their wares on that walkways. Then, when you are building road, there's what they call road safety audit by the contractor. When you are building the road, you have to look at areas like mountain, curve, bridges, marshy area, and all those things. You have to look at them holistically. And when you finish building the road, we have Road Safety Audit Reviewer, RSAR, that will come and review what you have done. If you put a curve, and the curve not supposed to be there, or the curve needs to be realigned, they need to look into that.
Should a state have a general plan, depending on the population of the state and projections for the population, for how many roads are we meant to have in a city like Lagos, for example, or even cities like Ibadan? Does anybody know how many roads we are meant to have, where the roads are supposed to go, how they are supposed to connect to one another? I'm not going to come back. I'm not even going to start yet on the conditions of the roads. But first and foremost, how you mentioned 300 per how much kilometers?
365 vehicles per kilometer.
Per kilometer. What should be the ideal?
Well, having 365 vehicles per kilometer trigger problems, congestion, level of service diminishes from level of service A to level of service F, that is force flow, from free flow to force flow. And when you have things like this, the next thing you need to look at is other mode of transportation, like railway, like waterways, and others, so that you can decongest the road. So that not only decongesting the road, environmental impact as well, like the vibration, like air pollution, and many others.
How much of it? Because I know that there are political issues of the concurrent list, this list, what is under the state government, what is under the federal government. Because for Lagos, for example, it doesn't make sense that, one, we used to have rail. You know, I remember going to secondary school, taking the train, you know, to secondary school in the early 80s. I mean, that disappeared after a while. Recently, there's been a resurgence of that. There's a train from Lagos to Ibadan and so on and so forth. But there should be, like, within the city, trains just going from point to point. There was also conversation of the tram, which Jakonde apparently started, and it didn't go as far as anybody expected. And then Lagos is surrounded by water. You know, people should basically be traveling on the waters.
A strategic transportation master plan was planned at that time to link all the modes, rail, water, road. And if you look, we have red line, we have blue line. Blue line is from Morile to Kokomaiko. Red line is from Ido that is from CMS to Alagbado. We have yellow line, we have about 6 lines that are on ground. So we also have water body. We have Ikorodu jetty, Falomo jetty, we have Osborne jetty. We have more jetties as we are talking now. They are commissioning some jetties. But as my opening remark, I talk of traffic psychology. Many people needs to be convinced to go on water. A lot of people don't want to go on water, and that's an issue. But for now, we're having more traffic on water, unlike before, that we're having 1%, now we're having 6%. It's still low. People should make use of water. Then, when we talk of roads, many roads are being built, and the appurtenances infrastructural provisional too. If you are in Mile 2, you can use water, you can use rail, you can use road, buses. So there are a lot of things that they have done in this strategic transportation master plan, but people yet need to make use of them. That of the Jakonde, that one is a LMA, Lagos Metro Line, from Magege to Tafawa Square. But there are issues on it. So to replace that Lagos Metro Line project is the 6 lines now that are coming up, light rail, and they are coming up.
Okay, so I mean, we're going to extend the conversation as other people join us, but I wanted to understand the psychology bit. You know, I understand that if you say, you know, people are a little cautious about going on the water, why are they cautious about water?
Thank you. Water is the safest means of transportation because if you look at waterways, it's natural, just like airways. All you need to do is to make sure that that corridor, that passage that the boat is going to pass through, have enough depth. And you remove carnages on the waterways. You also dredge to make sure you have enough draft.
So therein lies some of the challenges. So you've described some things that will worry the average person in Nigeria.
Yes.
Let me tell you, so if we're on the road now, if they don't dredge the road well, or they don't clear the road, or pothole is on the road, God forbid, if accidents happen, at least you will get up. If nothing happens to you, you get up and walk away from there, or they can carry you. If they don't drag inside water, or some nylon has entered propeller, I'm thinking
correct, you are correct.
Think,
go on, you are
you know, and then something happened on top of the water. Most of us cannot swim. Mami water, feed day water, whatever. These are things people believe.
Fumi, you are correct.
Yes.
But let me tell you this. What is the total number of people killed on the road every month in a year compared to people that are dying on water? That's one. Two.
Because there are not enough people on the water yet.
No, not really. Not really. If you look at those people that are having accidents, majority of them are these banana boats operators. And they shark, like the downfall drivers and many other things. They drink, they do a lot of things. That's why we have LASWA, that's Lagos State Waterways Authority, that is controlling and managing the waterways now. Do you know when it's 6 o'clock, you are not supposed to operate on water again? But you see some of them operating. And the state government has already created and they have rescue boats and many other things. They also bought boats for marine police to be able to patrol the waterways. So there are many things ongoing in waterways operation and management now that makes the waterways safer.
Right. That's for Lagos.
That's for
not
Lagos.
For the rest of the country. So,
and for the rest of the country, it depends on the area you are looking at. There are when you have water passage that are not well channeled, or there is flooding, and you put boats that are not enough, that are not strong enough to withstand the current, you have problem. A lot of people want to cross from one embankment to the other, whereas if you look at the movement of the bodily movement of the water, the current of the water is against their movement. Instead of them to go on that side and have their jetty there, they want to have their jetty direct opposite one another.
Okay. I want to take a break and invite other people into the conversation because I wanted Federal Road Surface Commission also to talk about it, because from what you are saying, it seems that a lot of it boils down more to the use of roads.
97% of road accidents are caused by the human being. Vehicular problem is there. If your vehicle are not roadworthy, the roads are also there. If you have potholes and many other things, and there are not information before you reach that slow down. There is an object ahead where you have 3 lanes and it turns to 2 lanes in front, and there is no sign. We don't have enough signs. We don't have enough signs. And some of the signs that we put on the road, you see all these people coming to remove them and be using those plates to do another things. When we haven't got enough, and we have displayed 3,000, 5,000 road signs, and you wake up within a week or 2 days, they've removed them, including the poles.
What do they use them for?
To construct many other things. It's not for this
conversation.
Congestion,
okay.
yes.
I'm going to take a break. When we come back from the break, I want to really dig into the issues of what we know and what we don't know to do on the road. Because, for example, I've learned you don't go and be walking on zebra crossing and thinking anybody understands.
No.
They will jam you before they know that is supposed to mean.
And the rule says that it is the right of pedestrian has the right, 100% right on pedestrian walkway. If you hit any vehicle, if you hit anybody on the road, it's a minor, it can be taken as an offense, a civil offense. But if you hit anybody on pedestrian road, on pedestrian crossway, it's a criminal offense. You can be killed because of that.
In which country?
That is the law. That is just the law. That's what I'm saying, that many people don't know this. That is their own path of crossing the road. They should not go on any other road. If you go and cross in any other road than where you are having your own road, you go on jail walk.
Okay.
You go to jail.
We're going to take a break because I want to move this conversation along to and also invite people. We'll take a break. When we come back from the break, we'll actually see what we know and what we don't know about the roads. After the break. Yes.
I had the strangest phone call today, Adrian.
Are you dirty little secrets?
This was another lifetime. Before I met you, Ada.
It's all lies. Isn't it, Adrian?
There's some truth in it.
If your personal life is affecting your work and your colleagues.
If I had told you about my past, you never would have given me a chance.
That is not a decision for you to make.
It's good you came. You see, the Holy Spirit spoke to me about you.
I remember you.
We go way back.
Why are you doing this to us? I gave you everything.
This is a sin.
You're a coward. Get out!
Sooner or later, something must kill a man.
Welcome back. It's Public Eye, and today we're talking about road rage. But then we're talking from end to end, from the people who use the roads, the people who plan the roads, and everything in between. We've now been joined in the conversation by more people, and I'd like to start with the lady. She's the most senior here, and I love that bit about it. Commander Emma Fekoya is the unit commander for FRSC here in Lagos, the Ikeja unit. FRSC, for those who don't know, the full meaning is Federal Road Safety Commission of Nigeria. She has been with the commission for over 18 years. So dare I say, she has seen everything that needs to be seen. Thank you, madam.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me here.
Right.
Thank you.
Also joining us is town planner Nathaniel Atebije. Is the national president for the Nigerian Institute of Town Planner. Those are the people who should determine what these towns should look and be like. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for inviting me.
Right. Let me start with you, Commander. You have seen everything. If you were to name the number one top offense or top issue contributing to the number of accidents, some of them fatal, on Nigerian roads, what would you say it was?
It's a human factor. There are basically three factors: the environmental, mechanical, and the human factor. Ignorance and attitude combined together.
Right.
Because there are several things. The road construction is there, the road signs are there, and there are some people who are ignorant of it. The use of roads are meant to be used by everyone, both the pedestrians, the humans, the animals, and the rest of it. We have different road users: the cyclists, the pedestrian, the drivers, and all encompassing. But in the terms of, we have so many people ignorant of the use of road. Let me give a simple illustration. Walking on the road. How many people know how to walk on the road?
Is there a way to walk on the road?
Yes. And that's what a lot of people are ignorant of. And before I start telling you that, I always like to mention this wherever I go. There's a manual for every Nigerian to have a study on the use of the road. It's called the Nigerian Highway Code. The other name is the Road User Handbook.
Right.
It's to teach you everything about the road. Everything about the road is contained in that book. Now let's start from the pedestrian. How do I use the road? There's a particular direction I should face. The direction of the oncoming vehicles, that's where I'm expected to face. I'm supposed to walk to the extreme end of the road where there are no pavements for the pedestrians. I should walk to the extreme end of the road to walk. But what do we find? People walking in the middle of the road and expecting the vehicles to stop for them, or they think they have more say on the road than the vehicle, the drivers driving on the road. No. And then when you're walking with a child, there's a particular direction you're supposed to put that child. A lot of people are also ignorant of that. You don't put that child on the side of traffic. You put that child away from traffic. You are now closer to the traffic than the child. And this ignorance is what also will cause crashes, because they are not knowledgeable on how to use the road. Then attitude. I know this, but I won't do it until someone forces me to do it. Like example of the use of the traffic lights. I know I'm meant to stop, but recently, as we've noticed, and we're already making strategies to work on that, the traffic light says stops, and you see people going past it. They know.
I hear people cursing me. If you stop,
yes,
they will be cursing you for holding them
back.
Yes.
It's now the reverse. Stop to them means go. And you ask yourself why. They are knowledgeable about this, but the attitude of, who cares, until they are arrested.
Right. I want to raise a very important issue, I think, here, because I don't know, and maybe you can give me the statistics. Majority of the road users in Nigeria use public transportation. Public transportation is really controlled from state to state by the local NURT, that's the National Union of Road Transport Workers. You know, there's the national, there's the regional, there's the state. And often the employees within those union, I don't know how much education is requested of them, required of them, and enforced with them. Long and short, everybody knows now Agbero get road, you know, and Agbero is king. Seemingly, I have not used Agbero in a derogatory way in my own mind, because they are professionals in their own area. Who regulates them? That would be my question. So to start with, are they not the most important road users to regulate better before we come to even education? Because I really love the idea of where you broke it down to the pedestrians. Because some of the things you mentioned, I learned them in primary school. They taught them to us in primary school. I don't think they taught my daughter. I taught her. You know, so let's start with the public road officers. You know, I will call them the agberos. They are the conductors, the drivers, and all of that. What kind of regulation goes on there, considering that there are a large percentage of those
regulation or education?
Education and regulation.
Okay, let me first say that everyone is important on the road. Everybody is important. Like we take it from Federal Road Safety Corps, we take the youth safety education. We go to schools to educate. We ensure that road safety is included in the curriculum. And we go to schools to check. Then it was that easy at your own time. Now we are enforcing it because a lot of things have changed in respect of education, and we all know that. And so we go to ensure that these topics are being taught in schools. We also encourage the issue of road safety club, having a club, you know, different clubs, debating club and the rest of it, all to encourage road safety consciousness at every level. Then for the parks, that's the drivers generally, we also create room to go to motor parks to educate them, and we monitor. We have things like pre-trip before you go out. Of course, whether we like it or not, that is ongoing, but we are not covering every area, but work is still on ground as regards that. But we go to parks, we do pre-trip, early morning cry. We meet them, educate both the drivers, the passengers on topics on safety, minimum safety standards. We check there's this manifest booklet for those who are on long distance. My passenger manifest booklets. We check to ensure that those informations written are correct. For those who don't, we educate the passengers on the need to give correct information. So education and enlightenment goes on daily. Every morning, all patrol teams go to different parks to educate people before they take off.
Town planner at Ebije, how much of it is the city planning challenge?
Thank you very much. Let me, first of all, identify the fact that the carnage we have on our roads has a fundamental problem. Like the human factor that has been mentioned, we always say that the careless kill the careless. And so when road users are careless, institutions to regulate are careless, and the drivers themselves are careless, the only thing you expect will be accidents. That is just by the way. Now, the city or any human settlement is a system, a living organism. Just like the human being, you have the skeleton that defines the structure of the person, and the strength of your skeleton is the strength of your body. The road system in an environment defines the structure. The weakness of any city system is first of all found in the transportation system. And so that is why when we go about to plan settlements, we work together with every professional. There is the land use planner, the economist, the transportation planner,
traffic engineers, and all manners of people so that we put it together, because the city itself, like I said, is a living organism. It has a time to be born, a time to grow, a time to die, and if we allow it, it decays. That is how the system works. But unfortunately, many people, incidentally, urban planning is more of a public affair that governments should be responsible for, the planning of cities.
Part of what the commander has spoken about, in terms of also what you have spoken about, the human behavior, isn't that part of the skeletal structure that needs to be taken care of in terms of, one, as she mentioned, education, two, regulation for better behavior, and of course, changing people's behavior, because there are places where you don't use a car because the public transport is so good. You don't really need to put a car on the road except occasionally. So going back to that structure, the skeleton of road planning and infrastructure and all of that in Lagos and Nigeria, which you've had experience with, how do you plan to affect people's behavior?
Okay. If you look at the town planning way, road takes majority of the land when they are planning. Look at the express. Look at the trunk A, trunk B, trunk C roads up to when you get to your house. And it has to take it because transport is life. If you are not sick, you don't need to see a doctor. If you don't want to build a house, you don't need an engineer. Right? But there is no way you will not need transport every day. Every day. Even from your bedroom to your bedroom, out to your car, you are using transport. You walk, it's transportation. You ride on that road, that elongated corridor with appurtenances called road. You drive there. So, because it takes major chunk of the land area being planned for, the use of it is very, very vital. People misuse road. People abuse the road.
But that's what I'm saying. Isn't that part of the planning challenge to ensure things are done in such a way that you get people behaving better? You mentioned earlier, about somebody calling you where you were enjoying yourself. I don't know where you said that, and because they could trace you by your license, that becomes an issue. So next time, you're not just letting just anybody drive your car. In terms of planning the infrastructure, because we are very good at planning structures, buildings, the actual roads itself. But in terms of the reward and punishment system that ensure people behave better, I don't know how much, which is why I kept emphasizing drivers, pedestrians, and especially bodies of those who
you see, on the issue of planning the road, I will still bring you back to attitudinal change. If you look at Ojota, we have pedestrian bridge there. When we took the data, we discovered they need more pedestrian bridge. We put another one. If you go to Ketu, pedestrian bridge are there. Then what are the people doing? They cross on grade. They cross the road. They don't use the pedestrian bridge. That is one. If you know Allen Avenue very well, I'll bring you to traffic engineering now. It has nothing in the middle. But people will now cross and face the incoming traffic. So what did we do? We now put concrete divider from Allen Avenue, from Toyin Street, down to Allen Avenue. So once you enter from Allen Avenue roundabout, there is no U-turn until when you get to Toyin Street to make a U-turn. To confine attitudinal change of people. Now, another area we do is that after you have done the education, you have done the engineering, then you come to enforcement. And that is where the Federal Road Safety and LASMA and police comes in. Haven't you seen a man shooking lasma with knife? Have you seen a man removing his trouser, sheet, and throw it on lasma?
No.
Haven't you seen a man carrying FRSC on the vehicle and running with the bonnet? The FRSC was on the bonnet and was running with the vehicle. So these are the animalistic behavior of people on the road. If somebody turn himself and remove his pants and become naked, what are you going to enforce? Won't you run away from such person? These are the issue.
And I wanted to come to Commander particularly regarding this, because I think about some of the problems we have had politically in Nigeria, how some of them might have had even environmental beginning, where there are resource or the perception of resource scarcity. I give you an example. Why can't we move cows, on water? Why can't you have sort of like, design the country, in such a way that there are ports or there are points where you gather this nearer their own area, and then you can move large, big mass of things in ways that are actually scaled up. That includes cow, includes corn, includes cassava, includes people. It means that those kind of areas to automatically, as you said, whether it is university, you move there, or you move factories there, even what is going on there, those people will have better development. Automatically, better roads will have to come. To start with, do you think people would resist? Because I can tell that you've seen psychology of human behavior for roads and movement and transportation. Do you think that there will be resistance to that sort of thing, where the idea of how you do things already is completely transformed, that you cannot be moving, you won't move it on road anymore? But these are the alternative, and you can move, instead of 50, you can move 50,000.
Okay, thank you very much. Like Doctor had already said earlier on, and people resist to change generally. And except that's why enforcement always comes in. For whatever good reason you have. I think, what market was it that they wanted to move, and then there was...
That is my 12, wanted
yes.
to move it.
And it's been on for how long now?
Oh, since a Fashola regime, Ambody regime. Presently, we are still there. And we have got a place for them at Imota. We have done everything just to move. If you look at the curb we put in the middle, so that there won't be any great crossing and be delaying traffic.
Including the iron bars, yes. They have
you
actually
see a lady crossing it. I said, what? So those are the additional change we need.
Couldn't that be because if you move the market that far out, because there isn't subsequent transport that makes it easy for people to get there, the person is thinking, if I'm there, nobody will buy my markets now. I don't know, I'm asking, I'm trying to think for why.
When those trailers are coming, they stay there. So the retailers move the market, they come over rather than, and you can go there and buy anything you want to buy. You see, to answer your question, straight to your question, until we resolve the issue of state, if we say regional, so they can move things to anywhere, I know it also belongs to me. But if you say state, I want it in my state. Look, Lagos State say, okay, all this company, they now move to Songota, they now move to Agbara, all of them are establishing in Ogun State now. And Lagos State is paying over ₦1 billion to Ogun State on tax, because you pay tax where you live, though majority of them still come to work in Lagos. The issue remains that, like we have Odua, if these things say, okay, this place belongs to Western region, let them take it to anywhere there is land. But everybody wants to, okay, look at Dangote. Dangote was to be established in Ogun State before they brought it to Lagos State. So who takes the ownership? It is the Lagos State that will take the ownership, not Ogun State. So for things to spread, because if you look at traffic in Lagos, just as the president has said, it's a mono-traffic. Everybody is heading towards Lagos in the morning. In the evening, everybody is coming back.
Yes, yes.
So the problem now is that everybody wants to use the road at the same time, towards the same direction.
Commander, I'm sure it's like that even nationally, because there must be a direction people seem to move. Yes. You know, what's that direction? What is the pattern for that?
It's the same area. I was just going to give an instance, like basically to the minimal level of where we are all involved. The downfall of bus. They have bus stops. But the general public, when you get in, because people like to point when they are outside that bus, but when they are in the bus, they are all offenders. You want to be dropped at the exact points where you want your goods, even when you don't have goods, where it's easy for you to access to wherever you're going to. Thereby, instead of making use of infrastructures made for them, the bus stops, they'll rather drop you where it's not convenient, but where you choose that it's most convenient for you, going contrary to what is expected. So people don't want to do what the law or the state wants for them. They want to do what they think is convenient for them so that they remain in that place. And if you have to do it, it's a whole lot of, it's more like a warfare. Like the example I just stated, and I concur to it. To move people from mile 12, sometimes you see the traffic that goes down all the way. You spend 4 hours on that on that stretch, short stretch. Then when you have gotten out of it, the road is clear in front.
Okay. I'm going to take a break so that when I come back from the break, well, the younger people can ask questions and make comments. Maybe they will have suggestions for us of how to get different results going forward.
Okay, before we take break, what she is saying, sit down on our attitude. And we need attitudinal change. Because people are now using public transport as their own characteristics. Unlike taxi, that you can use door-to-door services. That's not public transport. Public transport
think about this, and we answer it when we come back from the break.
Okay.
That isn't that partly also planning challenge? Because planning is not just structural, it's also behavioral, and the organizations that ensure different behaviors. Could we get to a point where no matter what you say to your bus driver or conductor, they will not open the door. They will not stop for you now. People go abroad, you know, you cannot, once they've closed the window, their door, you cannot make them open it unless there's an emergency, unless the conductor, the driver gets to the open spot. How do we change the system? How do we even use technology to enforce different behavior? Think through again, as I said, how do we get the stakeholders, you know, how do we get them involved in such a way that is actually profitable for them to change their behavior? After the break.
I had the strangest phone call today, Adrian.
I knew a dirty little secret.
This was another lifetime before I met you, Ada.
It's all lies. Isn't it, Adrian?
There's some truth in it.
If your personal life is affecting your work and your colleagues.
If I had told you about my past, you never would have given me a chance.
That is not a decision for you to make.
It's good you came. You see, the Holy Spirit spoke to me about you.
I remember you.
We go way back.
Why are you doing this to us? I gave you everything.
This is a sin.
You're a coward. Get out!
Sooner or later, something must kill a man.
Okay, it's Public Eye, and we have been talking about road rage, behavior on road, and reducing drastically the number of road accidents, road deaths, and so on in Nigeria. I've come to the point where we should involve the audience.
Thank you so much, Ma and Sars, for this privilege. I really learned a lot, and I basically have two questions open to everybody. The first one is, I want to know this building of houses on top of on pipeline, like you have a pipeline, you know that this place is underneath pipelines, huge pipelines. And then because there was a time in my secondary school where my school was just close to a pipeline road, and then on a very sad day, a tractor got the pipeline busted and there was a lot of fire explosion. And the next day, government came, they claimed that land, claimed that area and everything. Why is it that initially, when the landlords or the landladies were selling those lands, the Minister of Works, the Minister of Roads, they did not actually condemn that exact area? They know that that place was a fire danger. They did not take it initially. It was after the old disaster, causing a lot of road accidents and unnecessary people that were dying and so many things. Why was it that they did not actually take off that part as, okay, do not build here or do not buy land here or something? And then my second question is, people said attitude of individuals. Yes, because we know that sometimes when they say, please use the pedestrian bridge, we see a lot of Nigerians, they are actually crossing the road. But when they leave Nigeria and travel to the white man's land, they follow the old rule, follow the old regulation, because they know it's either it comes with a jail fine or with a penalty fine. Why is it like that? That in Nigeria we are lawless. We are actually lawless. We are like, we don't care. Everybody's doing it, so I must also do it. But when we travel abroad, everybody is actually like following that principle. Thank you.
Thank you. Commander, I wanted to ask a really specific question. That man who ran, he killed your staff.
Yes, he was taken to court.
Was he punished for that?
Yes, he was.
Right, because that was the question she was asking.
Yes, he was.
When people behave in Nigeria, they can do some of these things.
Yes.
But outside of Nigeria, they don't do it. Why is it that they do it? What's the punishment and rewards? That was one of the questions.
Why structures out there are already placed. You move this way, instead of that way, you are punished. Nobody comes to speak for you. Nobody intervenes. The structure is so outlined that you can't get off the hook. But in Nigeria here, somebody is arrested, you call the big shot up there, please help me out of it, get me out of this situation. And you have pressures mounting on you to do what you are not supposed to do, or to go or look the other way.
My question goes thus: why do elites, or is there a punishment that is meant to be given to the elites for bypassing the law?
With the use of camera now, yes, they can be punished. But without the camera and any other thing, I don't think nobody will want to go to General's house and say you want to contravene your vehicle. You do this, you do that. You know the answer. So
no, but I think it is a matter of the mind and discipline. Incidentally, I have worked as a town planning officer in development control. And I had a general who was doing what was wrong, contravening the laws concerning building. And then my officers who went there to stop him, he arrested them. And then I went and met him. And then when I explained to him the gravity of his offense and what we will do. Now, and then he said that, okay, how do we resolve this matter? We got to a place of resolution that you cannot continue this building. You cannot continue this building. And he said, all right. And we stopped him.
Right, because that was her question.
Yeah.
That people actually, how they build.
Yeah.
My answer to the president is that, thank God you are lucky. Let's leave it that way.
No, you see, sometimes...
Because I have been on the field and I have walked. Look, do you know what we went through at Apapa? They killed one of my staff there, Bakari. Yes. They were throwing stone on him like very close to a police station. And nothing happened. And they killed him there. Why? Because we restrain Okada. No more, no less.
Right. Dr. Salami, what would be your recommendations going forward?
My recommendation is straightforward. A country or a state is known by the type of traffic or the type of transportation it puts on ground. If you look at England, it's developed, there is their transportation. If you look at Italy, US, Canada, it's because of their transportation. And when they develop this transportation, everybody must own it. You must have the ownership of it to get the best out of it. Therefore, what Lagos State and other states are developing, they should take ownership of them, and that is how they can develop their economy. Because if you don't develop transportation, you can't develop your economy.
Right. Thank you. Comrade, what shall we do going forward? What will you recommend?
Like, let me sit on, or should I stand on it? On what you just said?
Go ahead.
I would, like you said, carry the people along. It's a joint responsibility. It's everybody's business. The issue of the safety on the road. Like we have the call center, 122. That once you're in your vehicle and you notice any problem, call 122, give the details where you're going to, your exact location. But how many of us bought vehicles and know the vehicle registration number? How many of us do a thorough walk? I tell people, if you don't want your journey to be interrupted, start the job there. It's your responsibility, it's my responsibility. I'm boarding a vehicle. I should take a look around that vehicle. I should be able to ask the driver, are you licensed to drive? Can I see your driver's license? Because I'm boarding your vehicle.
I'm trusting my life on you, right?
You owe me that responsibility. I want to be sure. And because it's a park, if the driver refuses, you call the attention of whoever is in charge there. He shows his license to drive. You see that the vehicle is okay. You bought the vehicle. Even if there's any of the operatives, law enforcement operatives that will stop for any reason to check, you are good to go because you've done your own check. Where number one, the vehicle is rickety, the driver is drunk, and you bought that vehicle, then for sure you might not end your journey well. Thank God if there is a law enforcement agency to stop your journey, because if they don't stop your journey, the road will stop you. So it's everybody's collective responsibility. We should take ownership of it. Don't live your life for somebody else to help you stay alive. Own your life in your hands by making sure from the start-off points you do what is needful so that you end your journey well.
Thank you. That's a real key information, that if you're going to board a bus, especially these long-distance ones too, if there's something, you suspect something wrong with the driver, the vehicle, you can call 122.
Yes, yes.
And report.
Yes.
You know, and if you like, actually get out, but make sure you report.
Yes.
That's the thing. Thank you, comrade. Thank you, gentlemen, also. I mean, there's so much to unpack, but one of the very important things I've taken from this going forward, because I do see that there will be a concerted effort going forward to start planning with the purpose of making money. But in terms of sustainable development, we have to plan for things to work, because when things work, we will make money. That is the only way we can save lives, we can save resources, we can save ourselves. Right, people? Thank you very much. That's our conversation today. And you know, you can join the conversation. You can always write us. You can tweet at us. You can send whatever information you want to send through our social media handle. Until the next time we see you on The Public Eye. Bye-bye now.